Alright, hi everyone, this is Tom McAllister, or at least that's what my agent keeps telling me to say, and we are looking at, this is a new series I want to start, because I often get questions, how do I play this killer, how do I play Survivor, yada da da. So, I know there's like 1,000 guides already on YouTube, but I just wanted to put my own spin on it. And this series is called How To, and then whatever's at the end. This one is How to Play Doctor, so we're going to be talking about this boy right here. Now, when you start playing Doctor, let's say you're just starting out on Doctor, you're going to get 3 perks at base, okay? So you have Overwhelming Presence, which is a significantly powerful perk, I would say, if you're just trying to run down items. It's not super helpful in, like, the long game. Monitor and Abuse, and Overcharge. This perk is actually really good on other people, a lot more than I think it is on Doctor, but, you know. And then Overcharge here. This perk may work in the early stages of the game, but once you get into like late game with people who are experienced with the Doctor, or people who have played against the Doctor a lot, Overcharge isn't going to be nearly as powerful anymore. So let's talk about the Doctor's power. So the Doctor's power is that he is able to essentially shock the survivors. And what this shock does is well, first we have Carter Spark. Let's go over Carter Spark first. So this is the Static Blast in particular is the first thing I want to cover. So the Static Blast is when you hold down, it's the control button at base, but I changed mine to the mouse wheel. Basically what this does is it makes survivors around you gain madness and at the same time exposes their location. Extremely helpful for information gathering, obviously. You can take away a lot of aura perks on the Doctor, which I'm going to go into a little bit later here. And then on top of Static Blast, we also have Shock Therapy, which is the next one right above Static Blast. Now this one can be used a lot more freely. Static Blast has kind of a cooldown after you use it once. Shock Therapy does not have that. Shock Therapy has kind of the same effect as Static Blast. It causes survivors to scream. It increases their madness. But it also interrupts actions and it stops them from doing things. So if you are playing a Doctor and you're getting ran around loops, the survivor keeps diving over a pallet, they're going for a window, you know that they're going to screw you over some way. They're going to unhook someone, for fuck's sake. You can use Shock Therapy to interrupt that action, which I'm actually going to show you a clip now of me using Shock Therapy to stop a survivor from unhooking the last person and essentially winning me the game. Okay, so here's what we're going to do here. Hold out, hold out. Cool. Alright, so now you're thinking, well, Tyler, why don't you show us some fucking gameplay of how god damn it. Why don't you show us some gameplay of how the Doctor works? We can't just read about it, Tyler. We should see it. And you know what? That's a fair fucking point. So right now I recorded this commentary-less Doctor game, which I'm going to take you into now. For whatever reason, the gameplay was super dark here at first. I managed to switch it over and get it fixed, but that was just something weird, something strange that happened. Anyways. So immediately I get going. With any killer, you're going to want to immediately start trudging around. You don't want to hang out in the same area for very long if you figure out that there's nothing going on there. So we got very lucky with the map that they gave us. This is a very, very good map. Now that I'm not sure who that was. I run up here and eventually see the Ewing. And she actually runs back out here towards me, unfortunately. I'm not sure if she was fully aware of my presence. Now, this build that we're running is it's like half skill check heavy, part aura, and then just trying to slow them down. So we've got Huntress Lullaby, Unnerving Presence, Thanatophobia, and Barbecue and Chili. So off the bat, I've immediately gone for this Yui. She slow vaults there, so I get her. Cool. So now we're going to pick her up. Throw in a hook. I have barbecue and chili. I'm going to look around to see if I can see anyone. I can't. Now, here's my first mistake. I'm going to make a mistake right here. I'm going to go to use my static blast when I completely should not. So right here, I start using it. I don't know if anyone's around. I managed to get one, but that's severely unhelpful, as you can no doubt tell. Obviously, she has borrowed, so I give her a schmack there. We're going to try to go for the Claude here. But we're also going to keep an eye on this Yui just in case, just to keep her on her toes. But then we accidentally find this Nancy as well. It's kind of a crazy situation here. This is a very lucky start to my game. Now, we were tracking the Nancy, but we actually end up tracking the Yui here. And we put her down. Now here, I use shock therapy. And it lasts long enough that she can't go through this window. See that? At the last second there, she managed to catch it. Watch how long the shock therapy lasts right here. I'm using add-ons, mind you. So I use it right here. So she can't drop that pallet. She already sees me going to the other side. She's going to try to go for that window. But the shock therapy lasts so long that she can't even make it through the window. Okay? So that's what shock therapy is for. It's used to block people from getting away from you, essentially. Blocks them from using pallets, blocks them from windows, it blocks them from doing anything else. If they're working a gen, you hit them with shock therapy, interrupts that. God forbid they're in the middle of a fucking skill check. That's another thing. As we increase their madness, they're going to get more and more difficult skill checks as well. The skill checks can go backwards, they can go around twice. It's very random. And Huntress Lullaby and Unnerving Presence is something we're going to try to use to benefit us more with that. See, huge mistake right there. I just used my power when I wasn't sure if anyone's around. Never use Static Blast if you don't think anyone's around. I was using that to see if there was someone in that area, maybe below me or something. That was a mistake. I couldn't tell where anyone was, and I used my Static Blast anyways, and that was foolish. Alright, so we see the Claudette there. I threw out that blast there to stop her from hitting the unhook, like you saw in that clip earlier. And we're going to pursue her now, just kind of looking back, checking and seeing what we got going on. This Claudette, if I remember correctly, eludes me for like a majority of the game. This was a dumb mistake, though. Tried to blendette, but if I see scratch marks stop all of a sudden, I know that you didn't keep on running. There's no fooling me there. But I will say this Nancy does juke me out of my socks later. So there's a dead hard right there. Made me miss. That's another thing you really need to gauge when playing killer is, are they going to dead hard? Am I about to have a whiff? Because when you whiff, you waste your time, and it gives the survivors distance on you. So you have to really gauge when you're about to hit someone. If you don't know if they have dead hard, just ride it out. Try to test them. You know, ride their fucking ass until they dead hard. And if they don't dead hard, then you swing. But don't go for swings too early without knowing what someone's got. Excuse me, I'm kind of checking this area because I feel like there should be someone around considering how much the gens are finished. Now this one I heard and I definitely knew someone was working on, so I go ahead and use shock therapy right there. You can see I get a double tap there. I don't just shock one of them, I shock both of them. Now I know the Yui's third hook, so I'm going to prioritize her over the Nancy. Simply because they're on 4 gens, if I can put them out of a teammate, that's going to take care of them. This is like how to play killer, how to play doctor, pretty much. I'm giving you tips for both doctor and just killer in general here. There, I wasn't sure if that balcony area was there. I was going to try to block her from that. However, she runs into pretty much a dead zone here. No dead hard. Couldn't make it to the pallet. She's dead. They're on 3 gens now. So I get a death, and they get 1 gen done. It's kind of a fair trade for me, and really beneficial for me, honestly. So we throw her on the hook. She's dead. I've just noticed that I didn't break these walls. Yeah, I should have broken this at the beginning. I walked right by here. Didn't break this. On maps like this, you want to break some of the walls, but not all of them. Okay, once again here, I'm just trying to use my static blast to scare them. I had somewhat of an idea that someone was over here because the gen got repaired over here and the Claudette was also unhooked here. I'm not sure what she's doing here. That was really foolish, but now watch. Now that I know that she has dead hard, I shouldn't fall for it again if she tries to use it again. Not only that, but the shock therapy also prevents dead hards as well. If they're still in the midst of the animation, it's hard for them to hit the dead hard. accurately anyways. So we lose another gen. The Claudette's second tiered, and now we have to worry about this Nancy and this Nia. Now, a lot of the gens are on my side of the map, and I have pretty easy access to them. The bird there let me know that someone was running down this hall. Okay, so now you're going to watch what I do here. This is the vault I was talking about earlier. This is a pretty good map to get Doctor on, honestly, simply because of it's not super big. And it's fairly easy for killers to navigate. Then there's lots of stuff for you to block in here, too. Your power is going to come in handy in here. Okay, so now here I have the Nancy and the Nia in my sight. So that tells me no one is over there saving the Claudette. So I see the Nancy going that way. I'm going to go ahead and give her a shock, but the Nia went upstairs. So I know that she's probably going for the unhook while Nancy still has to make her way all the way across the map to go get the Claude. So I'm going to try to rail them off here and go with the Nia. So that way, if the Nia runs that way, I can run into both the Nia and the Nancy and have the Claude there too. I more or less threw that shock therapy out there as a way to just kind of spook the Nancy. Okay, now that was really foolish right there. She stood there, she saw that I had shock therapy. I could have moved to either side. She didn't read my movement at all. Claudette passes away. So now I'm like, okay, we're at a pretty good advantage here at this point. Like, they're in a very, very tough spot now. And as you can see, the main thing about the Doctor is he does have such a presence in the game that he's very hard for you to just kind of navigate and play around with his shock therapy, with the static blast, and so on. And when it comes down to it, you're going to play most killers in this game the same way. It's just some you want to prioritize gens more, some you want to be more anti-healing, some you just want to be have as much pressure as you possibly can, which is what I'm doing here with the Doctor. Now, right here, most people might miss this. You always want to look in the distance. So in the distance there, I can see the Nancy is in that classroom right there. I see her move to the left. I go, okay. Now what she does here is actually very smart. So I throw one deep into the room because I assume she's going to be there. However, the Nancy, I believe, is crouching somewhere, either in one of these corners or something. She's right there. Hold on. This is insane. Let me back these frames real quick. This is really interesting to me. I think she's right there. Like, I just miss her. I assume she goes deep into the room. Yeah, I believe she's like right here to my left. No, where is she? She could have been hiding here. I have no idea where she was hiding in this room. I think she's already snuck out by this point because I come back out here and there's scratch marks, which means she had to have snuck by me. She could have doubled through the other door there and maybe walked and then started running at the end of the hall. I'm not sure. This Nancy was very good. So now we're chasing them both down. I could go for the Nia here, but I want to prioritize the Nancy because now, and for most of this match I've known, she's really fucking good. So I'm going to go for the Nancy here. She's very smart. She keeps on running. This Nancy is having none of my games. She runs around here. And I'm just using my shock therapy for the sake of using it, honestly. But she's playing very, very well. Remember, she's healthy too. Like, she's not injured. So even if I get a hit here, all it's gonna do is give her a little bit of boost. She started walking there because I think she thought she was gonna get to drop the pallet, but once she takes the hit, she does what a good survivor does and she abandons the pallet in full. However, dropping the God pallet here is both a sin and probably something she should have done, because otherwise I was just gonna catch up with her anyways. This slows me down a little bit. And now I'm after her again. She's still going. She goes out the window here. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. I think she starts trying to fix her madness in the office right here. I kind of act like I'm going to go that way. I was hoping she was going to vault through that window, but she didn't. So now we're going to break this. We're going to head this way. Boop! Put her down. Grab her. Put her on the hook. I'm hoping with barbecue we'll see the Nia, but we do not. No Nia is anywhere to be seen. I try using this, but to be fair, I don't think we've ever heard the Nia during this match, which I think she may have Calm Spirit. Nancy's trying to go second tier here so that she can give the Nia hatch. I'm nodding like a prick because I kind of got this in the bag at this point, and I'm not too concerned. Now, here's a mistake. The Nia is right there. She has two options. She can either go into that locker that she's trying to go into for some reason, or, excuse me, she can go double around, turn around, and go for the hooked Nancy. Unfortunately, she chooses the locker. I'm not sure if she has head on or what. It just didn't proc. I tried grabbing there. I knock her down. She goes down. We've won this match. Now, something we didn't get to see a lot of, in effect, was the Huntress Lullaby, unfortunately. Because after a certain point, these people were just simply not working on gens. But you will find the Huntress Lullaby is very, very effective at keeping people off of gens, or at least keeping them from completing them. With Thanato, it's just and then on top of that, Unnerving Presence makes skill checks extremely difficult for them. Now, like I said, I gave myself some critiques there. I said, you know, I shouldn't have tried to shock there. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. So on and so forth. But the point here being that the Doctor, his main power is he has such stopping power. He has such stopping power, and he has a great ability to figure out where survivors are. Really, really well. So that's sort of my main tips for Doctor. However, we are going to look at my build, and I'm going to try to run some builds by you that I think work really well with Doctor. Alright everyone, welcome back. Now we're looking at the build that I was running in that video, and I'm also going to tell you what my quintessential Doctor build is, because it's not quite this. This build is good, as it is. It addresses most of what I want to do, slow down, skill checks, and aura reading. But if I had to make a change, I would take away barbecue and chili, because let's face it, the Doctor's power allows you to find people so easy already. Now, what you want to do, if you want to play the Doctor the way I do, which when I play Doctor, I want to be as annoying as humanly possible, because that's simply when he's at his most powerful is when he's most annoying. So what I really try to play into, and I'm always going to tell you this, try to play into your killer's power, depending on who it is and what they do. You want to play into the Doctor's power here, and what I try to do is I run Thanatophobia, as you can notice out, see Unnerving Presence. I would have Distressing here, and Huntress Lullaby. Distressing is going to give you this insane terror radius, especially tier 3 Distressing. You're going to have insane coverage on any given map. Most maps, it's going to be hard to escape you. As long as you have some idea of where survivors are and you have Distressing on, you can use your Static Blast to always find them out. And this is when you're at your most powerful, is when you have all the knowledge, you have the skill checks are nearly impossible. Distressing and Unnerving Presence going together is going to make skill checks on that any map very, very difficult for survivors. Some people would say you should run Overcharge or Pop, but I think if you have Thanato and then you're running the rest of the skill check build, I think you're going to have no issues, alright? So as for where Doctor falls in terms of difficulty, they list him as hard, and I'm going to tell you, he's absolutely not, okay? The Doctor is not a difficult killer to learn. He's pretty easy to pick up. You just have to manage his power. He's not a tough killer. It just, like any other killer, it takes some learning, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to be playing a nurse or you're going to be playing a spirit. The Doctor's power is very easy to learn. It's very easy to use, and it's very easy to see the effect of. You know, it feels good to use his power. So that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit about playing Doctor. Next go around, for the next video, I'm probably going to have a couple of friends. We're going to hop into a custom so I can demonstrate specific things. And yeah, thank you so much. You know, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you would like to see more of this kind of content, be sure to leave a like and leave me a comment. If you enjoy watching my videos alone or with friends, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And I will see you next time on whatever I decide to make next. So until then, I will see you guys when I see you guys. Thank you and goodbye.